I'm a choreographer, dancer, installation artist. I started dancing when I was in the womb. My mother happened to tell me I was doing a workshop with Min Tanaka in Japan, up in the Yamanashi area, about 6 hours from Tokyo. And my mother just sent me this letter. I was in my 30s when she sent it. And she said, you know, I don't know if I ever told you, but, you know, like on January 1st, I was born on January 4th. So on January 1st, you know, there was a New Year's Eve party, or it was, I guess it's 31st, so. And everybody kept telling me to sit down. For some reason, I just wanted to dance, and I danced, and I danced. Every song that came on, I really loved it, and I was just getting down and dancing. And she said, and then everybody said, well, you need to sit down. You're going to have this baby. And she said, well, that's what we're going to do anyway. I mean, it's going to, you know. And she said, and I thought you should know that. And I was in my 30s, and I was like, you know, Mom, I'm so glad you told me that. Because it was an opportunity to feel who I was before I was conscious about who I was. And that movement resided, you know, inside of me in this womb-like nature that I still like find that energy in my body now. That it didn't just start with the notion of me examining technique or the notion of me examining myself as a conscious dancer.
Isn't that interesting that already Colin and yourself already have something in common, that he knew as a child that he was going to be cutting hair and already was, and that you were already dancing.
Well, that's what made me think about it. Since this is a salon scenario, it made me think about what is the thing that I also have in common with the person that I sit next to that was, you know, I mean, I guess this was an improv, so we're all sitting next to each other, but what do we hold in common as we sit next to each other is really imperative. So anyway, so that's me.
Could you tell us a little bit about your work that you do in Africa?
I had an opportunity to go and work in Tanzania, in East Africa, 2 years ago, and I spent about 2 years there, not consistently, but back and forth. And I worked with women who are 87% of the farmers that are not allowed to own land, or women. And I found that a huge discrepancy, and I decided that I wanted to go and work with these women as a choreographer. So I wanted to figure out what were some of the empowerment zones that that maybe not just I, but that we could collectively look at as ways of examining power and land for women. I went and did some farming on some of the land and started to look at this embodied information that's in a woman's body as we plant energy into the earth. And I started to ask questions of them, and they started to ask questions of me as a mover, as a dancer. How did I hold information in my body? How they held information as farmers in the land. And I started to look at both of those components of land ownership, land empowerment, and women. And I started to create an opportunity for those farmers to perform, so-called perform, their notions of power as women and farmers. And so I brought dancers to the farm, and I brought farmers to the stage. And we started to collaborate and find a way that we could talk about power, land, and gender. And so that's what I've been doing for the last couple of years. And yeah.
That's fascinating, incredible. And Ina?
So I'm absolutely honored to be here, Marta. Thank you. And just already with the introduction.